Welcome back to the channel The Coin Empire, where we uncover hidden treasures in everyday change, and today's story is one that will absolutely blow your mind because we are diving deep into the mysterious and incredibly valuable 2003 1-cent coin that some collectors believe could be worth as much as $70 million due to rare errors, minting mistakes, and unusual circumstances that transformed an ordinary penny into a legendary piece of numismatic history. So if you've ever ignored the pennies in your pocket, you might want to start paying close attention, because what looks like a simple copper coin could actually be a life-changing discovery. Now let's get into what makes the 2003 penny so special and why collectors and experts are fascinated by the possibility of such extreme value. First, it's important to understand that the 2003 penny was minted in Denver, and millions of these coins were produced, which means that under normal circumstances they are only worth face value. However, the key to its potential million-dollar status lies not in the standard versions but in extremely rare error coins that escaped the mint unnoticed and entered circulation. These errors can happen during different stages of the minting process, including die creation, planchet preparation, and the striking of the coin itself, and when multiple rare errors combine on a single coin, the result can be something extraordinarily valuable. One of the most talked about possibilities is a double die error, where the design elements such as the date lettering or Lincoln's profile appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process. This type of error is highly sought after, and if it is strong and clearly visible, it can significantly increase the value of the coin. Another potential error that could make a 2003 penny worth a fortune is an off-center strike, where the coin is not properly aligned when it is struck by the die, resulting in part of the design missing and the blank area clearly visible. Collectors love off-center errors, especially when the date and mint mark are still readable, because it confirms the coin's identity while showcasing the dramatic mistake. Even more intriguing is the possibility of a wrong planchet error, where the penny is struck on a metal blank intended for a completely different coin, such as a dime or a foreign currency blank. This can result in differences in size, weight, and color, making the coin instantly recognizable as something unusual and extremely rare. Another factor that could contribute to the massive value of a 2003 penny is the presence of a clipped planchet error, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a mistake during the cutting of the metal blanks. These clipped coins often have smooth, curved edges where the clip occurred and are highly collectible, especially when combined with other errors. Die cracks and cuds are also important to consider, as they occur when the die used to strike the coin becomes damaged over time, leading to raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin's surface. While minor die cracks are relatively common, large and dramatic ones can make a coin stand out and attract serious attention from collectors. Now imagine a 2003 penny that features multiple of these errors at once, such as a strong double die combined with an off-center strike and a clipped planchet. This kind of coin would be incredibly rare and could potentially justify a valuation in the millions, especially if it is in excellent condition. Condition plays a huge role in determining a coin's value, because coins that are well preserved with minimal wear are far more desirable than those that are heavily circulated. A coin graded in mint state condition with a high grade from a professional grading service would be considered a top-tier collectible and could command astronomical prices at auction. Another aspect that adds to the mystery and potential value of the 2003 penny is the possibility of experimental or transitional errors, where the mint was testing new materials or processes and a few coins were accidentally released into circulation. For example, if a penny was struck using a composition that was not intended for that year, it could become one of the rarest coins in existence. Collectors are always on the lookout for these anomalies because they represent unique moments in minting history that cannot be replicated. The story of a $70 million penny may sound unbelievable, but history has shown that rare coins with extraordinary characteristics can achieve record-breaking prices, especially when they capture the imagination of collectors and investors alike. The rarity factor combined with demand is what drives prices to such extreme levels, and when a coin is truly one of a kind or part of a very limited group, its value can skyrocket beyond expectations. Another interesting possibility is a mule error, where two different coin designs are accidentally combined, such as the obverse of one coin and the reverse of another. Although extremely rare, if such an error were discovered on a 2003 penny, it would instantly become a headline-making discovery and could potentially justify a massive valuation as collectors compete to own a piece of history. Beyond the technical errors, the story and provenance of a coin can also influence its value. If a particular 2003 penny were discovered in a unique or historic context, or if it gained fame through media coverage, it could attract even more attention and drive up its price significantly. Collectors are not just buying a coin, they are buying a story, and the more compelling that story is, the more valuable the coin becomes. It's also worth noting that the coin market can be influenced by trends and hype. When a specific coin gains popularity, its value can increase rapidly as more people become interested in finding or owning one. This is why stories of million-dollar pennies often lead to a surge in people checking their spare change, hoping to strike it rich. While not every 2003 penny will be worth millions, the possibility of rare errors makes it worth taking a closer look. So how can you tell if you might have one of these valuable coins? Start by examining the coin carefully under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Look for any signs of doubling in the text or image. Check if the coin is perfectly centered or if part of the design is missing. Inspect the edges for any unusual shapes or clips and pay attention to the color and weight of the coin, as these can indicate a wrong planchet error. If you notice anything unusual, it may be worth having the coin evaluated by a professional grading service or an experienced coin dealer who can provide an expert opinion and potentially confirm whether you have a rare and valuable piece in your hands. The idea that a simple penny could be worth $70 million is what makes coin collecting so exciting, because it turns everyday objects into potential treasures and reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance. Sometimes the most extraordinary finds are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with a keen eye and a bit of curiosity to discover them. So the next time you come across a 2003 penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to inspect it closely, because you never know, it might just be the coin that changes your life forever. And that's what makes this hobby so thrilling, the possibility that a small overlooked detail could turn an ordinary coin into a legendary treasure keeps collectors searching, learning, and dreaming of that one incredible find. Next, 1992 1-cent coin. Today's story is one that will truly make you rethink every single penny you have ever touched, because we are exploring the unbelievable mystery of the 1992 1-cent coin that some collectors believe could be worth as much as $65 million due to rare minting errors, unexpected variations, and extraordinary circumstances that turned an ordinary coin into a legendary treasure. And if you think that sounds impossible, just wait until you hear the details, because this is one of those stories that blends history, mystery, and the thrill of discovery into something absolutely mind-blowing. Now, to understand how a 1992 penny could reach such an insane value, we need to go deep into the world of coin production, where even the smallest mistake can create something incredibly rare. The United States Mint produces billions of pennies every year, and most of them are identical and worth exactly 1 cent, but every once in a while something goes wrong during the process, and when that happens, the result can be a coin that stands out in ways that collectors find irresistible and valuable beyond imagination. One of the most famous and significant errors associated with the 1992 penny is the close AM variety on the reverse of the coin, where the letters A and M in the word America are positioned unusually close together compared to the normal spacing. This might seem like a tiny detail, but in the world of coin collecting it is everything, because it indicates that the coin was struck using a proof reverse die instead of a regular circulation die, which should never have happened. This mix-up created an extremely rare variety that has become one of the most sought-after pennies in existence, and while most examples have sold for thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, the idea of an ultra-high-grade specimen with additional rare features has fueled speculation that such a coin could reach astronomical values, like $65 million, especially if it is one of a kind or part of a tiny undiscovered group. Now let's go even deeper into the types of errors and conditions that could push a 1992 penny into this extreme value range. Beyond the closed AM variety, there are also possibilities of double die errors, where the design elements appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process. This can affect the date, lettering, or even Lincoln's portrait, and when the doubling is strong and clearly visible, it becomes highly desirable to collectors because it is both rare and visually striking. Another possibility is an off-center strike, which occurs when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the striking process, resulting in a portion of the design being missing while the rest is shifted dramatically off-center. These types of errors are particularly valuable when the date and mint mark remain visible, because they confirm the coin's identity while showcasing the dramatic mistake in a way that is impossible to ignore. And when combined with Other rare features such as the close AM variety, the value can increase exponentially. Another fascinating error that could contribute to the immense value of a 1992 penny is the wrong planchet error, where the coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination, or even a different country. This can result in unusual sizes, weights, and colors that immediately set the coin apart from normal pennies, and collectors are always on the lookout for these anomalies because they represent a clear and undeniable mistake in the minting process that should never have occurred. Imagine a 1992 close AM penny struck on a dime planchet, or a foreign blank. This would be an extraordinary discovery, and could easily justify a massive valuation, especially if it is unique. Die cracks and cuds also play an important role in the world of error coins. These occur when the die used to strike the coins becomes damaged over time, leading to raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin's surface. While small die cracks are relatively common, large and dramatic ones known as cuds can make a coin stand out significantly, and when combined with other rare features they can add to the overall uniqueness and desirability of the coin. Another possibility that collectors dream about is the mule error, where two different coin designs are accidentally combined, such as the obverse of one coin being paired with the reverse of another. Although extremely rare, if such an error were ever discovered on a 1992 penny, it would instantly become one of the most valuable coins in the world because it represents a major failure in the minting process that is almost unheard of. Now let's talk about condition, because even the rarest coin in the world can lose value if it is heavily worn or damaged. Coins are graded on a scale that measures their condition from heavily circulated to perfect mint state, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 1992 close AM penny in average circulated condition might be worth a significant amount, but a perfect uncirculated example with sharp details and no visible flaws could be worth many times more. And if such a coin also features additional errors or unique characteristics, it could push the value into the realm of tens of millions, especially if it is the finest known example or the only one of its kind. Provenance and story also play a huge role in determining a coin's value. If a particular 1992 penny has a documented history or was discovered in an unusual or noteworthy way, it can add to its appeal and make it even more desirable to collectors, because people are not just buying a coin, they are buying a piece of history, and the more compelling that history is, the higher the price it can command at auction. Another factor that can drive the value of a coin to extreme levels is demand. When collectors become aware of a rare variety like the 1992 close AM penny, they begin searching for it aggressively, and as demand increases, so does the price. Especially when the supply is extremely limited, this creates a perfect storm where a single coin can become the center of intense competition among collectors and investors, all trying to own a piece of numismatic history. Now let's consider the possibility of undiscovered examples. It is entirely possible that there are still 1992 close AM pennies or other rare error varieties out there waiting to be found in circulation or tucked away in old collections jars or drawers. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting, because the next big discovery could be sitting in your pocket right now, waiting for someone to notice a tiny detail that everyone else overlooked. So how can you identify a potentially valuable 1992 penny? The first step is to carefully examine the reverse of the coin and look at the spacing between the A and M in America. If they are very close or almost touching, you might have the rare close AM variety. Next, check for any signs of doubling in the text or design, which could indicate a double die error. Then inspect the coin for any unusual features such as off-center strikes, clipped edges, or differences in color and weight that could suggest a wrong planchet error. Using a magnifying glass or a microscope can help you see these details more clearly, and if you believe you have found something unusual, it is important to have the coin evaluated by a professional grading service or an experienced coin dealer who can confirm its authenticity and provide an accurate assessment of its value. The idea that a simple penny could be worth $65 million might sound unbelievable, but it is rooted in the reality that rarity, uniqueness, and demand can transform even the most ordinary objects into extraordinary treasures. And throughout history, there have been many examples of coins that started out as everyday currency only to become incredibly valuable due to rare errors and unique circumstances. The 1992 penny is a perfect example of this phenomenon because it shows how a small detail like the spacing of two letters can make all the difference between a coin that is worth 1 cent and one that could potentially change your life forever, and that is why collectors are so passionate about this hobby, because it combines the thrill of the hunt with the possibility of discovering something truly remarkable. So the next time you come across a 1992 penny, don't just ignore it, take a closer look. Examine every detail and consider the possibility that you might be holding something incredibly rare, because in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest mistake can lead to the biggest rewards, and that is what makes this journey so exciting and unpredictable. As people continue to search, study, and share their discoveries, the legend of the 1992 penny will only continue to grow, inspiring new collectors to join the hunt and keep the dream alive that somewhere out there a simple coin is waiting to be recognized for what it truly is, a hidden treasure worth millions, and maybe, just maybe, that coin is already in your possession, waiting for you to realize its true value and change your future forever. Last 2018 D1-cent coin. Today's topic is something that sounds almost impossible but has captured the imagination of collectors all over the world, because we are talking about the 2018 D1-cent coin that some believe could be worth as much as $60 million due to a combination of rare errors, unexpected minting mistakes, and extraordinary possibilities that turned an ordinary modern penny into a potential legend. And before you dismiss this as just another story, remember that history has shown again and again that small minting errors can create coins of incredible value, and sometimes those coins go unnoticed for years before being discovered. Now let's dive deep into what makes the 2018 D penny so fascinating, and how such an enormous value could even be considered in the first place. The 2018 D penny was produced at the Denver Mint as part of the regular yearly coin production, and millions upon millions of these coins were released into circulation, meaning that under normal circumstances they are only worth 1 cent, but within that massive production there is always a small chance for errors to occur, and it is those errors that collectors search for, because they represent unique moments when something went wrong in the minting process and created something rare. One of the most intriguing possibilities for the 2018 D penny is the presence of a double die error, which happens during the creation of the coin die itself, when the design is imprinted more than once at slightly different angles, resulting in a visible doubling effect on the coin. This can appear on the date, the lettering, or even the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and when the doubling is strong and easy to see, it becomes highly desirable to collectors because it is both rare and visually striking. And if a 2018 D penny were discovered with an extreme double die effect combined with other unusual characteristics, it could become one of the most valuable modern coins ever found. Another important type of error that could contribute to such a massive value is an off-center strike, which occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the die during the striking process, resulting in a portion of the design being missing while the rest is shifted dramatically off-center. These coins are especially valuable when the date and mint mark remain visible, because they confirm the identity of the coin while showcasing the dramatic error, and when such a striking visual error is paired with other rare features, it creates a level of uniqueness that collectors find irresistible. Now imagine a 2018 D penny that is both a double die and off-center at the same time. This kind of combination would be extremely rare and could potentially justify an extraordinary valuation, especially if it is in near-perfect condition. Another fascinating possibility is the wrong planchet error, where a coin is struck on a metal blank that was intended for a completely different denomination or even a different country. This can result in a coin that has a different size, weight, or color compared to normal pennies, and it is immediately obvious to trained eyes that something unusual has occurred. These types of errors are highly prized because they represent a clear and undeniable mistake in the minting process, and if a 2018 D penny were struck on a dime planchet or a foreign blank, it would instantly become a major discovery and could command a very high price, especially if it is the only known example. Die cracks and cuds are also important when discussing valuable error coins. These occur when the die used to strike the coins begins to deteriorate or break, resulting in raised lines or blobs of metal appearing on the coin's surface. While minor die cracks are relatively common, large and dramatic cuds can make a coin stand out significantly and add to its appeal, especially when combined with other errors. Another possibility that collectors dream about is the mule error, where two completely different coin designs are accidentally combined, such as the obverse of a penny being paired with the reverse of another coin. Although extremely rare, if such an error were ever discovered on a 2018 D penny, it would instantly become one of the most famous coins in the world, because it represents a major breakdown in the minting process that is almost unheard of in modern coin production. Beyond these known types of errors, there is also the possibility of experimental or transitional errors where the mint was testing new materials or processes, and a few coins were accidentally released into circulation. For example, if a 2018 D-penny were struck using a composition that was not intended for that year, it could become one of the rarest coins ever created because it represents a unique moment in minting history that cannot be repeated. Collectors are always searching for these anomalies because they are often one of a kind and carry a level of mystery and intrigue that drives their value even higher. Condition is another crucial factor that can push the value of a coin into the millions. Coins are graded based on their condition, with higher grades indicating better preservation and more desirable characteristics. A coin that is in mint state condition with sharp details and no visible wear is far more valuable than one that has been heavily circulated, and if a 2018 D-penny with rare errors were discovered in perfect, or near perfect condition, it could significantly increase its value, especially if it is the finest known example. Provenance and story also play a major role in determining the value of a coin. If a particular 2018 D-penny has a documented history or was discovered in an unusual or noteworthy way, it can add to its appeal and make it even more desirable to collectors, because people are not just buying a coin, they are buying a story, and the more compelling that story is, the higher the price it can command at auction. Another factor that can drive prices to extreme levels is demand. When collectors become aware of a rare and unique coin, they begin competing to own it, and this competition can push prices higher and higher, especially when the supply is extremely limited or even limited to a single known example. This is how some coins reach record-breaking prices, because they become the center of intense interest and bidding wars among collectors and investors. Now let's consider the possibility that there are still undiscovered 2018 D-pennies with rare errors out there waiting to be found. It is entirely possible that such coins exist in circulation or in collections that have not yet been carefully examined. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting, because the next big discovery could be sitting in a jar of loose change or tucked away in a drawer waiting for someone to notice a small but significant detail that everyone else has overlooked. So how can you tell if you might have a valuable 2018 D-penny? The first step is to examine the coin carefully under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Look for any signs of doubling in the text or design. Check if the coin is perfectly centered or if part of the design is missing. Inspect the edges for any unusual shapes or clips, and pay attention to the color and weight of the coin, because these can indicate a wrong planchet error. If you notice anything unusual, it may be worth having the coin evaluated by a professional grading service or an experienced coin dealer who can confirm its authenticity and provide an accurate assessment of its value. The idea that a modern penny from 2018 could be worth $60 million might seem unbelievable, but it highlights the incredible potential of rare errors and unique circumstances to transform ordinary objects into extraordinary treasures, and it serves as a reminder that value is not always obvious at first glance. Sometimes the smallest details can make the biggest difference, and in the world of coin collecting, those details can turn a simple penny into a life-changing discovery. So the next time you come across a 2018 D-penny, don't just spend it without a second thought. Take a closer look, because you never know, it might be one of those rare and valuable coins that collectors dream about, and if it is, it could change your life forever. And that is the magic of coin collecting, the idea that something so small and seemingly insignificant can hold such incredible value keeps collectors searching, learning, and hoping for that one amazing find that will make all the difference and keep the legend of rare coins alive for generations to come.